Hello, Commissioners. My name is Genevieve Gary, and I will be giving a recommendation about Boiling Spring Lakes based off a resident survey that has been distributed by the Police Department. Before I get started, I wanted to give you a brief overview of my presentation today. I will start with an introduction, then talk about the survey itself. I will move on to the statistics behind the survey and the results. I will finish my recommendation for where the Boiling Spring Lakes community can move on to next. Community safety is important and can have implications on growth in Boiling Springs. It is important to know how the residents feel about the police department so that either the police can continue doing their job or the police can improve relations with the residents. Having cooperation between the two groups can make the community better. The survey was distributed in paper form to every household in Boiling Spring Lakes. The survey could also be found online through SurveyMonkey. The survey asked some general questions as well as how safe the participant felt in different areas of Boiling Spring Lakes. They were also asked their concerns and what problems they believed were happening in the area. A specific question for the police department was, how do you feel the Boiling Spring Lakes Police Department does in providing services to the community? Very poor, poor, fair, good, and very good were options they could choose from. The participants also had the opportunity to write in their own concerns and why they would hesitate calling the police for assistance. 376 people answered the survey that was sent to every household. The amount of housing units in 2010 from the U.S. Census data is 2,418. So this results represent 15% of the population. The gender demographic does match the census data from 2010. Around 55% of the respondents were female, while 40% were male, 5% were missing. Also, the homeowner rate that was found in the survey is similar to the census data, which shows that 84% of the population owns or co-owns the home. The respondents in the survey, 89%, were homeowners. This bar graph shows the distribution of residence time in Boiling Springs for those that participated in the survey. Disregarding the small amount of people that have just moved to Boiling Springs in the last year, the rest of the sample size ranges relatively evenly. This is good for the results because this shows that there is no bias for people that have lived in the area long or have only been here for a year or two. Moving on to age distribution, I did see a bias for older residents that participated in the survey. The participants in this survey are predominantly in the 60 or over age category. Here's what we need to remember as we look over the rest of the results from the survey. We are looking at a small sample size compared to the households in the region. The sample is older residents who have spent a range of years in the area and do not have children under the age of 18 in their homes. Also, 40% of the participants have not had contact with the police department. Please keep this in mind when I discuss the police data from the survey. One last thing about the sample size, the distribution of the households that participated. This image is taken from the survey itself. Around 30% of the answers came from Area C, which is the area between Patricia Lake and the loop formed by Alton Lake. This is good to see that there is no major bias of an area of residents that responded. The hand-in surveys were combined with the online data from those that used the link. I used statistical tests such as frequencies and ANOVAs, which I will further explain in the presentation. I also looked at the fill-in responses. When looking at the frequencies of answers in regards to safety, the majority of respondents either agreed or strongly agreed that they felt safe in Boiling Springs Lakes in certain locations. In regards to walking, whether at night or day, the question was asked in the participants' immediate neighborhood. The combined percentages, highlighted in red, show that the community feels safe. The only area of concern is at night, which decreases to 70%. I used SPS to use the raw data to look at the frequencies of answers. I found that more statistical tests were not needed because the majority of answers were the same. I hypothesize that this has to deal with similarities in the sample size distribution. This bar graph is to show how the participants rated the service of the police department in Boiling Springs Lakes. As you can see, the majority of participants said the police department was doing a good or very good job. As mentioned before, I saw trends in the raw data. I hypothesized that there is a relationship between age and satisfaction with the police department. By running a regression model in SPSS, I discovered that there is a statistically significant relationship between age and satisfaction with the police department. The older a resident is, the more likely they will be satisfied with the police department. I thought it was important to read all the participants that had taken the time to fill in the write-in portions of the survey. When I looked at this question, why would you hesitate to call the Boiling Spring Lakes Police, around 5% filled in an answer. What I found were a lot of answers that supported the sentiment of the quote above, that there is somewhat a perception that the police department is a locals club, where if you know one of the cops, your treatment will be different than an outsider or non-local. This could explain the issues with the few people that are not satisfied with the police. Based off the results I have presented, I recommend that the police department become more involved with the school system and focus on the younger residents of the community. The results of the survey indicate the older population is content, happy, and safe with the police department. I think a meet and greet at a local coffee shop or restaurant would be a great way to learn about specific problems. This would help the citizens that feel they don't know the police, such as people from the quote above. This is a trend that is happening in many communities after the last year. Here's a picture of the Wichita, Kansas Police Department participating in a barbecue with local members of the community this year. This got national media attention for how well it went. While the survey is a good place to start, I feel that it is best for face-to-face interaction between the police department and the citizens. Here are my references. Are there any questions I can address? Thank you for your time. Have a great day.